Hour on the hour, so come check out a podcast. I'll be on at 2 p.m. The Grace Tap Room's coming on at 5.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kick this off with another a favorite wrestling podcast. We can't say the because we have two of them.
No, it's okay. You can say the. We're the only one that matters. The best one.
Ooh, all right.
So
This one,
the only one that matters.
This one is a bunch of marks. So take it away, Mr. Brian Daniels of the Brian Daniels Mystery Hour.
Hey, what's going on, PopCon Indy? How y'all doing today? My name is Brian Daniels, and we are a bunch of marks. Although one of us is missing, that's our friend Eric. That SOB couldn't make it out here. But anyway, I'm going to introduce everybody here on this show. I'm going to start with the lovely lady to my left.
Hello.
My wife, Raven.
Oh.
And let's start with this guy all the way on the end down here. This is, who are you? Tell them who you are.
My name is Josh Thunder Shaver.
That's right. Bringing the thunder. Although I wouldn't say thunder here.
Why?
I wouldn't use the word thunder.
Oh, yeah, no, this
Bad
is the
thing
good
to say
thunder.
around here.
What is
I wouldn't
basketball?
mention thunder at all.
What even
'cause,
is
you
a
know,
basketball, my guy?
I wouldn't say that around
Indiana
here.
is basketball.
Indiana is basketball. In 49 states, it's just basketball, but here it's Indiana. Anyway, and then immediately to my right, we got a very special guest here. This is Justin Meyers. Also, his real name is Dalton, but, call him whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Just don't call me late for supper. That old adage, right?
He's a real professional wrestler, and although Josh is as well, but he's retired right now. But what we're going to talk about on this show today is we're going to talk about some of the things we love about pro wrestling, some of the things we just cannot stand about pro wrestling that we see from time to time as people who watch pro wrestling every single week. So, but first, I want to give Dalton over here a chance to just kind of tell us about who you are, why do you love pro wrestling, how long have you been doing it?
Oh man, that's a loaded. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, here you go.
So like Brian said, my name is Dalton Williams. Been performing under the name Justin Meyers for 15 years. It'll be 16 this October, which is crazy because I'm 30. I just turned 30. So I've been doing this since I was 14 years old, which is insane.
Okay.
I was
all right.
Basically you could say training Josh when I was 17.
Fact.
Like actually helping him out. We were setting up a ring in my buddy's backyard.
Okay.
I'm like, here, let me actually show you how to do this.
Nice.
Yeah, I was. Fun fact: I never actually went to a wrestling school. I kind of learned a very old school way where I hopped in a car with some guys and traveled around, and it's got the crap kicked out of me.
Oh,
like
that's a
20
fun
bucks
way to learn.
But if people ever come up and ask me, you'll say, who trains you and stuff, I say guys like Congo Kong, Hillbilly Jed, one of my other trainers who's actually wrestling down the other end for WWO, Kenneth James.
Yeah, okay.
And then I just learned through some other guys, done various seminars and learned a lot from guys like Abyss, Ricky Morton, and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express.
Let's go.
So yeah, just a little bit of knowledge here and there. And the reason why I love professional wrestling so much is because it's such a niche thing that it invokes emotion that I feel like no other medium can invoke in anybody. You can love somebody and hate somebody so instantaneously that it's amazing. You don't get that from like watching a movie or a TV show, right? Like that stuff has to get drawn out. But it also has that weird live sport aspect too of like basketball, right? Where you have the fans hooling and hollering at you and you kind of go off what they want to see, right? So it's just a weird dichotomy of like emotions and people saying like, this guy sucks, this guy's rules. Oh, do this. Okay, let me go do that. So it's like a thing where fans are guiding the play they want to see happen. And it's just always loved it. So yeah. I tend to ramble a lot too. So if I do, just like smack me with a bow door or something.
This is the show to ramble.
That's fine. We can ramble all you want on here. Well, that's great, man. I saw that you had been wrestling for like New Era Pro.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. That's based out in Terre Haute.
New Wave down in Terre Haute.
New Wave.
New Wave actually just came back. This is our first show tonight down in Terre Haute. But a lot of places around, what I consider a great wrestling state in Indiana, promotions such as, new is like the word, right? So New Generation Wrestling, New Wave Pro, New Era.
Yeah, there's a lot of news.
There's a lot of news. But like I used to wrestle for WCWO all the time when I was a lot younger. Emerge Wrestling.
I know Emerge Wrestling.
Yeah, they're great guys.
Ricky
Donnie and
Ruckus.
Ricky.
Ricky
Ricky's a good
Ruckus
dude.
is
Ricky's a great guy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit here, a little bit there. So
All right, so we're gonna get right into the negatives because we get the negatives out of the way. We can end the show on a positive note.
Love it.
So all of us have been watching wrestling for a long time, except this one down here. So for those who don't know, my wife Raven, she just got into pro wrestling a little over.
About 2.5, close to 3 years ago now.
Yeah, about 2.5, 3 years ago
I'm
now.
so sorry. I am so sorry.
That's still, in
You're
the
sorry.
wrestling world, that's still young.
Yeah, so
Young to be a fan.
but I feel like we've all watched wrestling enough to get an idea of what we like about pro wrestling, but also what we really just can't freaking stand about pro wrestling. So we're going to get into, and I'm really curious to hear what these two guys have to say since they worked in it. What they can't
I'm trying to not be
stand.
mean and offend some people today, but
No, it's okay. We're all about being. We're an equal opportunity offender on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mean and offensive. I was telling Josh the other day that like I have my hip holster ready because I'm ready to shoot. Brother. We're gonna have.
Hey, let's go. I love a good shoot podcast. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll let you guys take it over. So in pro wrestling, there's a lot of things that people do. Now, granted, I have not worked in the business myself. The only thing I've ever done is commentary. I've never been in the ring. So as someone who has mostly observed others do things, and I'll let you guys kind of bounce off of what I say, and maybe you'll have some opinions. I'll say the one thing I can't stand that wrestlers do, they do this shit all the time, is that stupid ass where you slap the table. And because like you have to understand, pro wrestling, right? It's a very special form of art. It's kind of like watching a movie, okay? You got to know. I'm not going to use the F word. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going to use that word here. But there's a
Sounds with
lot.
breaks.
Right, yeah.
just to make sure.
There's a lot of things about pro wrestling that when you go and see it, much like when you're watching a movie in a theater, you have to kind of suspend your disbelief, right, or suspend your belief a little bit. But when you go to shows, and what's funny is when I started going to pro wrestling shows 15 years ago, there's a lot of things you see that the cameras don't show on TV for good reason.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And when you see certain spots, which is basically a moment in a wrestling match, you're just like, that looks even worse in person. And the thing that I'm talking about that also looks bad on TV is the table slaps. You know what I'm talking about? It's a spot in a match where they'll go out to the commentary table or wherever a table may be outside the ring, and he'll grab him by the hair, and he'll do one of these numbers. Right. Now, see, he made it look somewhat good. He made it
he's a
actually
good
really
wrestler,
good.
yeah.
Actually really good doing that. Thanks. But on TV, they do it so many. Raven and I were always saying how we hate this spot. And it looks so bad because it's supposed to emulate him hitting his head actually on the table. But when you put two hands up and you just go like this,
And your head
is
doesn't
nowhere near the table.
It's insane.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like you're saying, you don't want to say the F word, right? Which I get, but it's like you have to still also give that believability, right? Like
Dude, that's the whole point, right? Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in like you have to believe in what you're doing, and that also means like you have to lay it in, right? The whole point of professional wrestling is you're not trying to. You're working with people, you want to make it look good, but you don't want to be able to see right through it, right? So like when dudes, I'm going to show you an example. So when dudes go and like grab somebody, hand on the table, and they go,
yeah, that's
you miss them by 3 inches, and you can see the window on the other side of the building. That's a problem. The whole point is when they grab you, just to go, peg it. Like there's a safe way to do it, but goodness gracious, like everyone knows what professional wrestling is. We get it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it a safe way. Oh my god.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question real quick too. When you were learning to become a pro wrestler, what was that like for you trying to figure out how? Because every wrestler is different in the way they take a move and they sell a move to show the crowd that it was painful or whatever.
Right.
Sometimes that shit really does hurt though. But how is that like for you to figure that out for yourself? Have you had to study yourself? Like, do you watch your videos of yourself to make sure you're or get feedback?
I'm always big on feedback. I am the worst when I'm trying to go back and watch matches I've done in the past. I am horrible. So I go back and watch my own matches, and I'm like, I'm self-conscious watching myself.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
One way I learned about like doing stuff like that and making it look good is to an extent, you just have to do it right and then go from there. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. It'll come to me in a second, but it's an old story I heard from the old territory days and Jerry Jarrett's promotion. He was learning.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah.
And it was with Tojo Yamamoto. There's an old story that Tojo Yamamoto was trying to teach Jerry Jarrett how to sell. And I guess Tojo had these really long thumbnails, right? And he'd be like, Jerry, come here. And so he would grab Jerry and grab him by the ear and he'd take that thumbnail and just dig it right into his earlobe, right? He's like, oh my God, what are you doing? He goes, now come here. And Jerry's like, no. He's like, no, come here. And so he'd grab him again and he'd grab him, ball his thumb, grab him by the ear again. And he goes, what you did first time, do that.
Yeah.
And that's how he learned how to sell, was you just actually have to take it.
So he had to feel it to really get an
Exactly.
idea.
So when, guys are out there chain wrestling and you have them, like in a Boston Crab or an arm ringer and stuff, sometimes those guys are cinching it in because if they feel like you're not giving them what they need, they're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
You're going to know.
Oh, I believe that.
So that's how I learned. So
Sure.
especially like
Yeah.
that table spot of like, well, I guess I'm going to take my face to this table and just bam. Okay. That sucked. Don't want to do that again. Let's figure out how to do it and make it look good and not give me brain damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Raven, what's something that I know you've been watching for about 3 years now. What is something that when you watch wrestling that you just can't stand that you see?
I think that's probably my number one. I don't know. Sorry, I was listening. I was listening very.
No, you're good.
Come back to me. Let's.
I wouldn't. I'll come back to you. Josh, what's that thing for you?
You were talking like a specific spot. But
It doesn't have to be. It can be anything.
Yeah, but-
Anything at all in pro
something
wrestling.
specifically in a
Anything.
completely different gear
Yeah.
that I cannot stand is when like the crowd's certainly going a specific way, and it's like, but that's not what I wanted from you. This is what we're gonna go back and do. And it's, that's the whole thing about is it is a live show, so you got to go with the crowd.
Like when they cheer a heel,
Yeah,
and the heel's like, "That's not what I'm trying to get."
yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't cheer. No, that's when you go, yes, bask in my glory.
Yeah, you gotta
or
turn
something like
those
that.
things
No, exactly. And I just hate it when you've got all of this just fan interaction. And you're just like, no, I'm the bad guy. You're supposed to boo me, or I'm the good guy. Why don't you like me? You can make that a thing. If you're a face and they don't like you,
Yeah.
cool. You're not trying good enough.
Yeah.
It's built in.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, so it's like, man, when you try that hard to fight against the crowd,
Yeah.
that's the worst part of wrestling to me. Of course, I'm always that guy that's trying to throw the wrench in the crowd too.
That's true. I always try to be that guy. Yeah, and that's the other thing about pro wrestling is when you're in there in the ring, I'd imagine you're feeding off the crowd and what they're giving you. We have friends that do improv here. Second Breakfast at a table over there, Established Facts. Go check them out. They're great. They also do a pro wrestling podcast called The Stable. You guys should go check it out. They did that yesterday. To me, wrestling is like another pure form of improv, honestly. Like, and a lot of that stuff, I know you guys pre-plan talk about it a little bit. I know a lot of it is kind of on the fly. You call your spots in the ring, things like that. And I know a lot of that also is, when a crowd's like, one more time, you're like, all right, let's do this. Let's get.
I'm guilty of that. I am very guilty of that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry, brother.
Yeah, sorry, bro. It's gonna happen again. Yeah.
What? One more super kick.
Right. Let's go to you, Dalton. What's that thing for you? You can't.
Oh my gosh.
What is the one thing you just can't stand that happens in pro wrestling?
It's hard to differentiate between like I hate it when this happens. My biggest gripe is, again, everyone knows what professional wrestling is, but you still have to try to give that sensibility of like, this is a legitimate thing that's happening, right?
Yeah.
So this is I don't want to say it's very infamous, but like everyone knows what it is. When a heel is beating up a babyface, and then that music hits, and they just stop. They just dead stop fighting somebody. Or anything happens. Prime example that I always go to is the Survivor Series match between the Authority and Team Cena, when they go for the pin for the Authority, and all of a sudden Sting's music hits, and Brian Armstrong just stops counting the pin. I'm like, what are you doing?
No.
Like, keep going.
Why? Yeah.
Like, Liv Morgan is great about this. Like, she'll be in that spot where she's beating up somebody, that babyface music hits, and she's like, oh, someone's coming?
She gets her final licks in.
Wait, okay,
She gets her final licks in. Yeah.
I've been guilty of that too, where like that happens, and I'm like, oh, I need a powder real quick, and they're still 15 feet behind me. I'm like,
I have. Did you get one? Did you get one?
Kind of, yeah.
Go for it.
We were kind of talking about this a little bit yesterday
Yeah.
on when we were with the stable.
Yeah.
Just talking about how the crowd obviously, or the fans obviously want a specific wrestler, and the promotion just completely ignores them. And I'm not talking about just like for that show. I'm talking about like for months on end. Like, for instance, Karrion Kross. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah.
Everybody has been wanting Karrion Kross. Kross. We see signs, push Karrion Kross, you know, and like WWE's just ignored.
Push Karrion Kross.
Like, they haven't had
Do
him.
it.
I mean,
they are though.
today they will. Yeah,
today they will.
Like,
Night of Champions. Yeah.
First match on live TV in how many months? You know what I mean? Like, and it's just insane. I don't know.
Okay. So I have another one. It is the inconsistency in when a spot happens and how powerful it affects the person. For instance, Friday Night SmackDown. If you don't know, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it for you. This is not the most recent episode. I'm talking about last week. Okay. John Cena did his pipe bomb thing. He kind of reenacted that with CM Punk. I can't stand it, and they talked about this on Busted Open podcast, which, by the way, that's like a top show. Definitely go listen to that.
Open is incredible.
They're amazing guys.
I love Dave LaGreca.
Oh my God, he's the biggest mark of all. He's the biggest mark of all.
His entire crash out after Cody lost the title is my favorite.
I love that.
That
shit was funny. So anyway, so when they put CM Punk through the Slim Jim table, which that shit is so stupid, by the way. Brought to you by Slim. That's so dumb. I can't wait for the. Oh yeah. Yeah. So when he's just laying there, knocked out for like an hour while John Cena's riffing on him, and then what was it like? Another match, they had a guy get put through the table and he pops right up. I'm like, okay. All right, a little inconsistent on the table.
It was the powers of Macho Man Randy Savage that made this.
No, it was because he got hit by the goat. Yeah, he got hit by the goat. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
The never seen 17. You know, it's like
the invisible man has more powers than you here.
Or when they do it with finishers, like they try to protect finishers, but then like they do, then it's like 3 weeks in a row. You know, Gunther will chop a person, it doesn't hurt him, and it's like, okay, come on, guys, there's or when they
consistency.
Oh, I know, I have a really good one. Adam Cole and MJF, that whole thing in AEW was so dumb because they made Adam Cole a big heel. Yes. And then MJF, I think, got hurt or something. He came back, and we're all supposed to pretend. You know, we're supposed to get like that MIB thing where they flash you in the eye. They do it to the crowd all the time. Oh, you didn't see that like 3 months ago. We used to call that the 3-month rule back in the day. Remember when they did that all the time?
Yep.
They got 3 month ruled. Like if it happened 3 months ago.
3 months later, nobody remembers because something we put in the water.
The Rock and Cody, you know, like had their big.
Oh, how he wanted his soul.
Oh God! Why'd you have to bring up that?
That didn't test well in the test group, so we took that.
We're gonna just not
non-canon. That is non-canon.
That was so bad. Yeah.
That's probably from like the inside looking out. That's probably one of my biggest gripes. And it's not like any one place. A lot of promotions do it is they still to this day will like insult the fans' intelligence and just assume that, oh, this didn't happen. It's like, we all remember this, especially with the day of social media and YouTube and all that.
Yes.
You can go back and watch all of this. This all happened. Acknowledge it. It's okay.
Acknowledge it.
Oh my God.
You better put your one up.
No. I can acknowledge it because it's been 3 months.
I know. It has been 3 months. No, but yeah, you're right. I hate when they make the fans act like they're not intelligent. Like we don't keep up with this stuff or we don't watch it. I mean, that's why we're fans. We watch this week in, week out. We're kind of keeping it up in our own mind. We talk about it. You know, we talk about it on social media and with our friends and wherever we go. And then they'll do the most out of left field thing. And it's like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, why did you do this? Why did you build this up for 3 months and only to like drop it, not do anything with it?
And then you send out Travis Scott in the main event of WrestleMania.
It was Cody Rhodes.
Hey guys, you guys remember this? Fiend.
It still irritates me to this day that like one of the most like culturally significant moments in like professional wrestling, if not like WWE history, is forever tainted because Travis Scott is just standing in the corner after John. I'm like, this is awful.
Can we just Photoshop him out from now on?
That was so dumb. That was kind of dumb.
It
was kind of dumb.
It's already done. Good. Well, like in the 2K25 game, there's all those people in the showcase that just have blurred out faces, and it's like, why would you include that clip if you can't show the whole guy? Like, I know that's Crash Holly, you idiot.
Right.
I can see his shorts.
We're not dumb. We know who wrestlers are. We know what they look like, what they do, and shit. It's like kind of stupid. Dalton, you got anything else? Like any valid criticisms of pro wrestling as a whole?
All of it.
It all sucks. Don't be a fan.
I've always joked
Don't
that,
be a
like, because you always hear people, like, even to this day, they're like, oh, like, that wrestling stuff, that's dumb, right? Being in the business as long as I have, and even some of the guys down at WCW will tell you this,
Yeah.
the people that criticize professional wrestling the most are professional wrestlers.
No, I believe that. I believe that a lot, yeah.
Like, there are days where I just sit at home and I'm just like, I hate wrestling.
I hate wrestling.
But, like, it still keeps, it's like The Godfather Part 3, right? It's like every time I'm out, they keep bringing me back. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something about it.
One thing I want to ask you guys about is the internet wrestling community.
Oh,
Let's talk
God.
about that for a second. So,
You mean the exact people that pay our bills and our bread and butter?
no, these are the people that never go to a show and they
Yeah.
bitch about pro wrestling and they never go to complain. Like the whole thing about Jey Uso and all the people online were like, he sucks, he doesn't
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile we're all yeeting, you know. in
by the thousands in arenas, just
people don't show
Yeah.
up and boo at all.
mindlessly doing this
You
for
know?
10
You
minutes.
hear anything
They
else?
don't boo at all because we're drowning you out with all the cheering. What do you guys think about the internet wrestling community? Like has it ever impacted your careers at all?
It's never impacted me, just because I'm on a much smaller scale. Like, people have made comments and stuff. Like, there's videos on YouTube of matches and stuff.
Yeah.
They've made comments. I think
Yeah.
the biggest thing, and I learned this from a guy who I consider like an Indiana legend. His nickname was the King of Indiana, Billy Rock, right?
Oh yeah, I know him. Oh yeah,
I was doing a training.
Ruby Riot training.
Yeah, Ruby Riot,
Yeah.
Vance Warner.
Yep.
Uh,
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
One thing I learned from Billy, because again, at this point, I'm also in the business, right? We were talking about something, and somehow Randy Orton got brought up, and this would have been 2011, 2012. And I'm like, oh, Randy Orton sucks, right? And Billy pulls me to the side, and he's just like, let me tell you something. I'm like, all right. He's like, where are you at? And I'm like, Lafayette, Indiana. And he goes, what's Randy Orton doing? I'm like, wrestling for WWE. He goes, right. So why do you have to tell him that he sucks when he's there and you're here?
That's true.
I'm like, oh, fair point. And I kind of get
Yeah.
that with like the IWC. It's like, oh, this guy sucks. Oh, like da 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 da. It's like, they're there, you're not. Like, you're behind a computer, but like,
Yeah.
would you really go up to that person directly and say, no, I think you're horrible. I think you're just absolute trash. You should not be in the spot that you are. Like, would you actually
Probably
do that?
not.
No.
Probably
Like,
not.
that's my biggest issue with the IWC is I feel like everyone has the right to opinions and a right to criticism, right? Like, it's not any different with like a movie, TV show, band, whatever. Everyone has that right. That paying fan has that right.
Yeah.
But don't hide behind a computer and just say that and just never like give a reason to why, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just, if you're going to give criticism, give a reason as to why you are giving said criticism and make it a valid point at that. Don't just say, well, just because. Why? That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, it's and I agree with that. I think that it's ridiculous these people who it's kind of exhausting. Like that guy right there, biggest IWC, biggest hater ever.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Biggest hater this entire con. That's true.
Oh, you stole John Cena's invisibility serum?
Yeah.
You stole the invisibility serum?
That's Big Don Stable Podcast. Go check them out. They got a booth over there.
Did I just die?
Yeah. Did your mic just die? I don't think it did.
No, I think his figure just fell into the abyss like Thunder's
Yeah.
career should have happened 10 years ago.
You're dead. But anyway, but as far as that goes, yeah, I think the internet wrestling community is just so toxic anymore these days.
It is,
It's like,
and-
it doesn't matter. Like here's a great example of this. The fans will complain about how a wrestling promotion, what's AEW, WWE, most of they do it to WWE.
Yep.
They'll say, how come they're not pushing younger talent? How come they're not? And then they push a young talent, and then people hate it. Jey Uso, and then they're pissed about it, and it's like,
Yeah.
make up your damn mind. Do you want new talent, or do you want
Yeah.
John Cena to win every single match? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from me?
It goes back to that same criticism too of like them not necessarily hide behind a computer, but it's like, oh, I could have booked that so much better. I could have done that so much better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Everybody's
it.
a booker.
Do it.
Everybody has their own
Go,
solution.
go
Yeah.
find you a building, go find your ring, go find you some talent, go do it. Like it.
Yeah, I hate that.
I'm bad about it too. Like I'll even do that where I'm like, oh man, I could have done that so much better. I'm like, well, wait, I don't have my own promotion. Like I'm just a talent. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna But yeah, same things like just don't complain about booking or whatever when you've never done it. You don't know what goes into it.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So, all right. Let's go ahead and stray away from the
I have
negativity.
one more that I
Oh,
was
you have one more?
thinking of, yeah.
Okay, let it
I
out.
hate the whole thing that being dirty and having long hair means that you're a supernatural being from beyond the grave.
You're
Oh,
talking
you
about
want
her?
Undertaker?
The whole trope in wrestling that
Oh, yeah.
hey, no, this person's supernatural being from beyond the grave. Let's throw some dirt on him and give him dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and exactly. See?
Hell yeah. What about you,
now.
Raven?
Oh, I think just like when it becomes very obvious that the refs or the announcers or commentators are stalling for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So like, for instance, when,
happens a lot.
you know, during a match
Happens a
and the
lot.
ref is like supposed to count to 3 or whatever, quote unquote, count to 3, and then they're counting and it's like very like,
Slow.
even start.
What was that,
And then they,
Starrcade
like,
97 with Hogan and
exactly,
Sting?
before they even get down on the ground to start counting. And then when they get down on the ground, they hesitate to count. And then they're like very slow with counting.
2 and 3
And then somebody's music hits and somebody does a run, or, you know, somebody runs out. Or somebody does a run in, you know, through the crowd and stuff. Like, it's
Yeah.
very obvious
A lot of
that something is
miscues
going to
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. That's just a nitpicky thing, but
For
yeah.
sure, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and get into the positives because I think we've only got about 25 minutes left. So
Are there any?
No.
We are at the half.
Have a good day, guys. It's been a fucking day. No. Pro wrestling sucks. Don't watch it. Have a
Don't
great
waste
night.
your life on this. It is a drug. We warned you. Thank
It
you.
is.
I would say for me, the biggest pro I get about pro wrestling is wow, I can't find one now. No,
Brother, you've been telling me this. I've been doing it for
It's,
15 years.
it's the community when you go to a show.
Yes.
If you never go to a pro wrestling show, first off, you're doing it wrong. Go watch. If I'm gonna tell you anything, go watch pro wrestling.
Yes.
I would recommend if you're gonna go for the first time, go to your local pro wrestling first.
Yep.
So you can really get a sense of what goes on in the ring. You can enjoy it from a little bit more of a closer perspective. I think I've been to tons of indie shows that were way more fun than any pro wrestling show I've been to. And I've been to a lot of pay-per-views and then Raw, SmackDown, AEW, TNA. I've been to them all. So if you're going to go see a show, go to your local show. And we have tons of them here in Indiana.
Yes.
Tons. We live down in the Louisville area, so we love going to OVW. Which is fantastic. There's
We've been to
Grindhouse,
White River Pro, too.
White River Pro Wrestling Academy that Jake Oman runs up in Fishers.
No matter what anyone tells you, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I would say that we did talk about how bad the IWC is. If you're basing the community solely off of what you see online, that is a very incorrect representation of what the community really is about. Because when I go to a pro wrestling show, much like when I go to a convention like where we're all at right now, I feel a sense of community here. I feel like this is, I don't like to use the term, but it's like a safe space. I feel comfortable here. I feel welcome here.
Feel yourself.
I feel like I can be myself here.
Yes.
And that's how I feel when I go to a show. We don't call ourselves professional wrestling marks for no reason, because when we go to shows, we are some of the loudest people in the building. And it doesn't matter where you put us at. And that's because when we go, we're there to have a fun time. We are there to cheer on the people that we come to know about. Pro wrestling, when you go to a show, especially indie show, I kind of look at it like a mixtape. Now, I'm old, and we used to make mixtapes back in my day. Maybe some of you guys don't know about that, but we did that back in our day. And pro wrestling, if you go to a good pro wrestling show, it's like a good mixtape. You're going to have some of your favorite songs, all of your favorite wrestlers that are there. And then you might discover some new songs, all of some new pro wrestlers that you've never seen before. And when I go to lots of indie shows, I am not just there to see like guys like Jack Vaughn, Dalton McKenzie, Cal Hero, and more. I am there to also see who else is there and discover some new favorite people. And so for me, I think the biggest pro about pro wrestling is going to an actual show. You're going to have a fun time.
Yeah, we just discovered a new favorite last week.
Yeah, and if you're shy, that's okay. Everybody is welcome at a pro wrestling show. Oh, there's some WCWO guys in the back, I see. And you're going to have fun and open yourself up. You might make a friend or two. People also cosplay at pro wrestling shows, just like they cosplay at a
They do all the
convention.
time. All the time.
You'll see people dressed up like Macho Man, like Hulk Hogan.
Macho Man.
I mean, John Cena, although you probably can't see
There's
those
a
people.
John Cena right there.
There's a John Cena right there next to Mike.
Yeah.
Going to a show is so much fun. And I had the pleasure last year of going. I went to 9 weeks in a row going to a wrestling show of some kind. That was a lot of fun.
Woo!
And I went to, in that 9 weeks, I went to TNA, AEW, WWE, and I went to OVW and tons of other independent shows in that 9 week span.
I think that was we went to White River too.
We went to White River up here too. Yeah.
Wow.
So that for me is we got the Indiana Comic the convention center. We got the convention center. I almost made a real the convention center carpet.
Yourself, my guy.
Walking down here, I love that, Carl.
That's great.
I love it. I love it. Anyway, it's PopCon, by the way, not the other one. There we go.
Real word botch.
But that's my biggest. That is a botch. Yeah, you're right. That's probably my biggest thing. What about you? What would you say
No,
is a big about pro wrestling?
I'm sure Josh can agree to this too. It definitely is like the fans in those venues, whether it be like an armory or a high school gym or wherever.
Yes.
There's just something about on the independents how you become so connected to those fans because you're actually interacting with them all the time, right? Like you go to WWE or AEW, like, on the bigger shows, it's a bigger production, right? But they're also on a time crunch. So they go down, slap a few hands, whatever, but they, go do work and then get back to the back.
Yeah.
Where on the indie shows, you actually go out during an intermission, talk to the fans, get to know them, and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just really intriguing. Like, I always talk about people are like, oh, that's so cool, and I always talk about the people that I've met along the way, not necessarily the talent, or even the names, or that guy Kenneth James, who's just an absolute eyesore. Let me tell you about it. Oh, hey, KJ. Just they are incredible people. I'll never forget when I had my first surgery.
Hey, they're telling you to wrap it up.
Probably.
Wrap it up. Brandon Peters, we have a technical difficulty. That's okay.
hilarious.
Go for it.
Within the past 7 years, I've had 2 ACL surgeries. And I've had fans reach out to me directly, hey, best wishes, we're hoping for you, whatever. Then I might eventually go back to those shows. The last one of the funny stories I have is, so I got married last March, and New Era down in Shelbyville was running an event that night, and one of the talent on that show, Hillbilly Jed, and his wife Nikki were at our wedding. And they had to go back for that night. And I was just because I had also been gone from my surgery, and I was hey, when you guys go there, can you just say a little something hey, just let them know I'm thinking about them, thinking for all their wishes, and that I got married today. And apparently, one of the camera guys messaged me the next day and goes, hey, so she made that announcement, and you got the loudest pop of the night, and you weren't even there.
Yo.
So it just goes to show, that kind of connection you can have with those fans, and it's incredible. There's none other.
Raven, what about you? What's one of your favorite things about pro wrestling?
I think, again, it does kind of go back to the community and the fans, but also that there's something for everybody. And that was something that I didn't really discover until I went out to a show. Watching it on TV is one thing because you can kind of connect to the characters and everything, but actually going out and being in the community and seeing the wrestlers, we went to, there's another convention it's an expo, a wrestling expo that we go to here in Indy. It's called Squared Circle Expo.
Yeah,
and
that place is great. Yeah,
my first year there was absolutely insane. I connected with people there, and just by networking and other fans and wrestlers that I never experienced in my whole life.
Well, this very show.
It's here. Yeah.
Squared Circle Expo.
Here.
It came from a conversation that we were having.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a small idea that turned into, we're just going to do it.
Yeah. And
for sure.
It's the sense of welcoming and openness, and it's kind of you have so many different niches within a niche. It's kind of I kind of also always kind of equate it to the horror genre. because you have
there's subgenres.
there's so many subgenres.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
baby.
So like you have horror, which is a niche in itself, but then you have true crime, you have paranormal, you have psychological, you have books, you have comics, you have movies, you have and there's just so many nuances that go into the wrestling world that like even if you don't think that you like it, go.
Yeah, there's
Just
something.
experience it in person, and you will not come away unhappy.
Yeah, there's so many genres of pro wrestling. There's lucha libre. There's Japanese style wrestling, which is amazing. If you watch like New Japan Pro Wrestling, there's AAA lucha libre. There's CMLL? CMLL.
There's just so many different types. There's more like on the
Catch
mat.
wrestling is great.
There's more like on the mat, Olympic style wrestling. There's the high flyers.
Yep.
There's the acrobatics. There's
the guys that just love to straight brawl and kick ass, like Stone Cold.
That's
right.
Wrestlers. Yeah, the enforcers. There's just so many.
What?
Yeah, so many different types.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I love to me, I love the stories within. Like,
oh yeah.
I am there mostly for the wrestling itself. That's what I'm there to see. And having a good story, you got to have a good story, and also have to have a good match.
Yes.
So they both go hand in hand. I don't know if you said that's fair to say.
Absolutely.
I am there. It's kind of like I love to read and check out comic books. I know Josh is a big fan of that.
What's a comic?
And this is like, what's a comic? Shut up. Pro wrestling is like a real life comic book with characters, story. There's good guys. There's bad guys. There's villains.
It's interactive entertainment.
It's insane.
Yes.
And that's what makes.
Josh brought it up. He's like, remember Chikara wrestling? Like, legitimate comic book wrestling?
Yeah,
oh my
Chikara
god,
was all comic book wrestling.
Yeah, Colony were my dudes.
They even do at certain conventions have what's that, cosplay wrestling?
Yeah,
cosplay wrestling where you'll have like Wolverine versus
That was my
Deadpool.
first experience at a quote-unquote live wrestling show, and even I was entertained. This was
It's fancy cosplay wrestling is the name of the promotion.
That's awesome.
And they go and they all are in like they're all in character. Like
that was absolutely amazing.
I would love to do something like that.
That's fun stuff.
There's actually another promotion that does the same thing where it's another subgenre, right? Called old wrestling, where they perform in a style of like a vaudeville act, like an old wrestling. Yeah, OLDE wrestling. They perform.
Yeah.
They perform in like a 19 like I'm trying to remember exactly when vaudeville was, but it's like that style, right? Of like you have the strong man or like
that's
stuff.
cool.
And they're super like
kind of like the vaudevillains.
Yeah,
it's like a whole promotion.
Yeah, it's awesome. Definitely get them and check them out. They're awesome.
Hell yeah, that sounds great. Josh, what is it for you that you love about pro wrestling? What are some things?
Other than absolutely everything. And looking at the things that we haven't touched, we're talking about the storytelling, we're talking about the crowd reaction. Man, something that most of the people won't ever get to see is the absolute ridiculousness that goes on backstage, because it's a whole bunch of kids that like are just it's like, oh man, I gotta get myself hyped up. Oh hey, let's go like chomp each other in the corner and yell things for 10 minutes. Like have you ever seen the Jack Vaughn video where it's like he's got the wig on and it's like, oh, I bet he's out with some ring rat, and then it goes to like a bunch of guys in the room and they're doing an a cappella version of Just a Small Town.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's a whole bunch of professional wrestlers, and it's
oh my god!
I commented on there. I'm like, not only have I done that, I recognize some of those guys in there, and I've done that with them. You know what it's like? That stuff really gets going on.
That's so funny.
It's great. So there was this one time, Anthony Lee, he was a heel at the time.
Yeah. Oh, I know that guy.
He told me, this kid was asking him how much for an autograph, and he's like, I don't know how much you got. And he's like, well, I've got $5 for concession. And he goes, I'll take that $5. And then took his pen and just very gently marked on the paper and walked away with that kid's $5. And I'm standing there and I'm like, no way.
I know my next favorite thing about pro wrestling.
So I got to walk up and then immediately sign that kid's autograph book, and he's like, you don't have any money. And I'm like, no, that's good. And I grabbed a couple other guys. I'm like, hey, come here. And I don't remember if you were there or not. He's dead anyway. I don't remember if you were there.
Damn, okay.
Actually, you're not Anthony Lee. Anthony's still alive.
He is very much still alive.
Very much still alive. I promise you.
His beard oil tonic.
Oh, shit. I would say my favorite thing about, another favorite thing about pro wrestling, I can't say enough about, what we enjoy about pro wrestling, what makes it great. I love kayfabe.
Yes, absolutely.
I am an old school Mark in the sense that I miss kayfabe. If you don't know what that is, kayfabe is basically when people are in character and they're in character all the time, everywhere they go. I think the purest form of this is lucha libre. These guys wear their masks everywhere. They probably even sleep in their masks. I remember like when Rey Mysterio took his mask off in WWE, I was like, no, what is wrong with you?
That did not
you don't have a
Brian,
face.
that didn't happen.
You don't have a face. Like,
Brian,
you don't see it. Yeah, that's right. And
No,
so-
that never happened, and I've never seen his bare face.
So anyway, but for me, it's kayfabe. It's when these guys stay in character. Now, granted, this is really not a thing anymore. There really is. You really don't see this anymore in pro wrestling. There's very few people that do this. Like a great example is MJF.
Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio does a good
He's
job of
in
this
Split.
as well. But
He lives
it
24/7 his character.
It kind of makes me feel a certain way when WWE is about to have this show come out called Unreal, where they're going to pull the curtain
Yeah, I was
back.
not. I saw that was going to happen. I'm like, please don't. Like, they're
gonna do it.
just a little bit. I'm like, please
They
don't.
gotta do it because they need more of this, man. There's never enough. But for me, it's I love the magic of not knowing certain things, and
Yes.
that has since faded away for a long time.
Sometimes it's like when I can get pulled in on a really good work, and I'm sitting there going, wait a minute.
Wait, is that real or not? Like, did that really happen?
And you know when it happens because I usually go into our group chat. I'm like,
Yeah, we
hold
talk
on,
about it.
anybody else? Is anybody else watching?
Talk about it. Yeah, no, it's just certain things, like the whole thing with Ron Killings.
Yeah.
What, I still don't even know. I don't think we'll ever really know. I don't care what Sean
We're not
Ross
gonna know
Sapp
the
says.
full story.
I don't care what they say. I don't think we'll ever know until if our Truth or Ron Killings decides to come out and say it. Although he has said and his son has said it wasn't a work, but I have no idea. For me,
That in
it's
itself is a work. That's
for me,
how
it's,
deep wrestling goes.
I think that's what makes wrestling magical is sometimes you'll never really ever know. You might have an idea of what you think you know, but I think that was what makes pro wrestling great is the ability to have some sort of self-interpretation and put that into it. I love surprises. I'm in pro wrestling. I like being shocked about stuff. I don't mean shocked as in a bloody, gory mess of a thing.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, like, as
A
in a
legitimate
genuine.
surprise.
Did not expect that to happen.
Like Joe Hendry facing Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Dude, that was wild.
I was so excited.
I was going to say that he was the TNA champion. If you would have told me that like 15 years ago, I would have said you're full of shit. There's no way
that was gonna
they
happen.
would do that. But they did that.
Yeah, no, they actually did it.
I was on my
It's
feet the whole
insane.
time.
Yeah. Things like this TNA WWE crossover.
Yeah.
Once again, that's a thing that, when Vince McMahon was in charge, none of that would ever happen. back.
Some could say they
No
opened
way.
a forbidden door.
Yeah, something like
Wink,
that.
wink.
What's a
Right,
forbidden
right. What's a
door?
forbidden door?
No way. Stone Cold Steve Austin is
but
the
it-
only wrestling superstar I'll ever need.
But to me, it's I think what really makes pro wrestling magical is it's a combination of these guys like Dalton, like Josh, who have gone out and still some of you still continue to go out and entertain a crowd, and you feed off that energy that the crowd gives you, or as much of it as it can give you, depending on how big or small the show
Exactly.
is. If I'm at your show, there's only 10 people there. I will be a crowd of 100 myself.
That's
what
true.
I'm
Like
trying to
sometimes
do.
the smallest
All right?
shows are the loudest shows because it's just
Yeah.
they want to be there and they want to be entertained.
And I think for me, Raven and I, we go to a lot of shows too, where we live in Southern Indiana, Louisville area, and I love seeing these little kids, dude.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, no, that
I love seeing these kids that'll just, I mean, to them, that's why I never want them to know it's not what it is, like
Yeah.
I think that is one of the coolest things about pro wrestling is when little kids get involved.
Every show that we've gone to together and we're sitting together,
Yeah,
in the crowd,
there's
there's
been
always
kids.
some kid that's
Yeah.
always like trying to figure out what we're doing and going, no, these are the guys to listen to. And honestly, that's why I always give that 100% to him.
Yeah, because they're listening to
The
us.
crowd, because I know
Yeah.
that there's other little kids going, wait a minute. it's okay to not like John Cena?
Yeah, dude.
What's
Yeah.
that?
So Brian and I went to a new promotion show last week.
Yeah, we went to Loose Cannon Pro with a friend of ours, John Clark.
down in Southern Indiana.
Brand new.
And there was a row. There was a row of kids on the opposite side of the ring.
Hold on. Yeah, no. Who did he work? I don't know who that Nolan North guy is, but what did he ever do that was important?
Game on.
So-
God,
hey.
Margaret.
So there was a row of kids across the ring from us.
Yeah.
And you could tell that a couple of them, I don't know, maybe all of them had been to a show before. And there was a match going on, and somebody was like, "Break his arm, do it again." And then one young
Kids are
girl
savage. I
yelled,
love it.
"Break everything!" I mean, like screamed it, and we were just like, "Oh my
holy shit,
gosh,
these
she
kids
was,
are like
into this, yeah."
like break a finger off. I'm like,
Kids are the
Break
craziest wrestlers.
everything.
I think you're just saying out loud what you want to do to your brother sitting next
Yeah, no,
to you,
for
and you're
sure.
projecting it onto the people in the
Well,
ring.
because kids, there's no way.
They do not hold back.
Well, there's no way that you can convince a child fan that like it's all cool and gravy and this is just a organized dance, if you will, because that is the level of realism that kids get into. Were you there the show that the kids, and it literally was all the kids at the 4-H center calling me ugly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And actually going off that too, going back to the kids interaction, how they're yelling like, "I want you to break your arms" and stuff. We did an event. It was for FNX Wrestling up in Bluffton, Indiana. Not Bluffton. It was in North Manchester for a street fair.
Yeah.
And I'm wrestling a gentleman by the name of Sean Logan, who was trained by Seth Rollins. And I said to him, I was like, "Hey, do you cool if we do a roll around spot on the outside?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "If I grab your arms, just trust me." He goes, "Okay." And there were a bunch of kids up in the front row. Like, you could tell they were into it, right? So we go out there, we do the match, I throw him to the floor, and I said, "All right, just come with me." So I gave him a chop, we go to the round side. There's two kids standing there. I took his hand. I said, "Can you hold this? Can you hold this?" And two kids grab his arms. I just, bam, right across the chest. He falls over. They let go. I grab him again. I said, "All right, here we go." Grabbed him by both of his arms behind his back, took him up to a row of like 13 kids, and they just start chopping
Bro,
him for
that's
leaving
so
crap on his
good.
chest. And the ref looks at me and goes,
so good, man.
do I disqualify you?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't do anything. It was all them. Like, it's my brother. Just toss him back in."
Yeah, I've seen spots like that where, and that's what that's one of those things on the fly. You're looking at the crowd. What's the crowd giving you, and what can you give back to the crowd? Right? You're playing off each other, and the kids are the best. These kids are the best. There's a little girl that goes to OVW. Her name is Gracie.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the Netflix Wrestlers show, which I'm on, by the way, for like 5 seconds.
Which episode?
I think it's episode 6.
It's during the
Okay,
part
I
where
need
they
to
talk
finish
about
it.
It's
Okay.
her name's Gracie, and she just loves to give it to everybody, dude, especially the heels. She's one that's still kind of like, doesn't really cheer the heels. She's kind of playing the whole bad guy,
Right.
good guy thing.
Right.
But I just love seeing the kids, man.
Yeah, no,
the kids at the shows.
And at the day, like,
Do it
that's,
for
at the
me.
end of the day, that's what it's really about. I feel like professional wrestling as a whole, and I know Vince McMahon, like, it's kind of a prime example of, like, it's meant for the kids, right? Like, at the end of the day, to an extent, it is meant for the kids. Because sometimes, like, it's an escape for them, too. And if they can just go out, and just give all of their energy and stuff to a guy they
Yeah.
truly believe in, like that comic book character or that superhero, that's like, this is my guy. And when they finally get that big 1, 2, 3, that kid is the happiest kid you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, it's it's bigger than Christmas to them.
Yes.
Well, and I think for you guys that are performers in the ring, that's kind of your way of passing that on to them, too, right? Like, those kids could be guys you watch in your old age perform in the ring at one point. When you're old and retired, not doing it anymore, they might be the ones that They saw you
Yeah.
do what you do.
Yeah.
And now they're going and doing it because they watched
Well,
Justin Meyers in the ring all the time.
Just like Bailey and who was it? John Cena, and then Lyra, met Bailey when she was young.
AJ Lee and all of them, like they met people when they were younger. I think of like Edge when he was on a talk show and he got to ask Bret Hart a question.
That's right.
Remember that? Like a young Adam Copeland, like asking like how can we get into the pro wrestling? You just never know who in the crowd could be on TV one day.
Exactly. You never know. That's why I always say go to your local indies.
Yes.
Go to your local.
Yeah, absolutely. Go watch a show, even if you don't think it will be for you.
Yeah.
Go to a pro wrestling show.
I promise you, if you have the time today,
Seriously.
march up that hallway.
Yeah,
go
go
check
straight
out
down there to the very
WCWO. Like, I've known a lot of those guys for 10 plus years. I
Yes.
love every single one of them. Please go give them a chance. You will leave with a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Real quick before Brandon's going to kick us off the stage, I want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with the big heel down there with the tiara on his head. We are, he's the queen of the ring. That's right. Yeah. Queen of the ring down there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today while we do our show. I want a big thanks to Dalton over here for
Hey, no, thank you
joining
guys
us.
for having me.
We appreciate
It was
you.
just a little on the whim. I always bully Josh. I'm like, when are you guys going to have me on? He's like,
Right.
we're working on it.
Right. We got business cards of our show. Don't get the ones up here on your right. I don't know who that show is. Those guys suck. No, anyway, those are our friends, the Grays. They're right here in front of us. Grab their card today. Talk Pro Wrestling on their show. Well, sometime. Go check out our podcast. You can take a card, check it out. We have a brand new episode that just dropped yesterday where we talk all about the King of the Ring. We do a special bit called Raven Reacts where because she's not watched a lot of pro wrestling, so she randomly chooses a match. And the match she chose, well, kind of ties into the King of the Ring this weekend. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your PopCon. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.